We all want to have the merriment of Christmas. We all want to be able to take our children to Grand Market, buy our family gifts, have a Christmas Day meal of our favorite meats with gungo rice and peas, sorrel and cake, or just to visit our parents and give them a little money, even if it's the only time we get to do it. We all want the material symbols of the season. Some of us do not want to acquire these material symbols through lawful means. Unfortunately, some are planning to rob and kill, taking the lives of others, just to be able to floss at the popular parties of the season. The message of peace, goodwill, and the celebration of life means nothing to those with criminal intent. They have hardened their hearts. Last year, December, 127 Jamaicans lost their lives to intentional fatal violence. Your government recognizes the emergency situation and has utilized emergency powers to save lives. The measures have been working well to reduce the number of murders. Nevertheless, as believers in the salvation of Christ, we appeal to the killers, the robbers, extortionists, and scammers to heed the message of the season and the example of Christ. Turn from your destructive ways and celebrate life instead of taking life.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me on this video. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Childhood home of Marcus Garvey was being occupied by, I think it was 3 sisters, but 2 sisters were recently given homes, and one person is still, they're still waiting on that person to finalize a deal, right? So the sisters Jacinth and Carla Johnson were overcome with emotion when they received the keys to their new houses in Seville Heights, St. Anne. And that was handed over by Prime Minister Andrew Holness, right? And he officially handed over the 2-bedroom units to the sisters following a ceremony on December 19th. 2 sisters, Jacinth and Carla Johnson, who were living in our first national heroes home, Marcus Garvey, and that is in the parish of St. Anne. They have been given homes. Prime Minister himself, of course, he handed over the keys to the 2 sisters, right? They're occupying a very historical home, right? So sisters Jacinth and Carla Johnson were overcome with emotion when they received the keys to their new houses in Seville Heights, St. Anne from Prime Minister Andrew Holness, just in time for the holidays. So they were given 2-bedroom units, always add another one if they choose to, and that ceremony was held on Monday, December the 19th. So each of them got a 2-bedroom unit, right? So the houses, which were constructed at approximately $8 million each. So you can tell, right, that the government is very interested in creating this museum for the right excellent Marcus Garvey, right? So in order for them to do that, they have to have these ladies vacate the home because the home will be turned into a museum. So of course the homes were provided under the new social housing program NSHP in collaboration with Jamaica National Heritage Trust, right? So I guess the Heritage Trust of Jamaica also facilitated on that as well. So they occupied, again, the boyhood home of national hero Marcus Garvey, and that was located in St. Anne's Bay, St. Anne. The government can now construct the museum for the first national hero, of course, Marcus Garvey. Right? So even though the housing developments did not fit the standard criteria under the NSHP, special arrangements were made to have the units constructed as a project of national interest. So that says volumes, right? They want to get this thing off and run. Sure, this will attract thousands of people, both overseas and local, who want to see the boyhood home of Marcus Garvey, right? So much history, right? It's a very historical space where even the children, students, can make it a day trip and, of course, visit this museum, right? He underscored that Marcus Garvey's philosophy, work, and fight for equality helped pave the way for liberation of an entire race worldwide. So this is an enormous feat, right? And of course, his legacy should be preserved, and his legacy is deserved, and it's deserved to be monumentalized. A golden opportunity for the government to use this space and to make it an historical site, right? So we can't wait on this. This has to be done right away. Yes, they said one person is still waiting to sign an agreement, right? So I'm hoping that, some agreement will be reached with the other person who is still waiting there, because there is one other person that has not yet signed an agreement and has not yet probably moved into a home. Mentioned people from all over the world will be visiting this site, right? I can actually just visualize people coming in, by the droves to see where Marcus Garvey lived. Time to time I pick up his books, and it's so awesome to see the stories that he tells in that book. Like he spoke about living beside white kids growing up in the country, and he never knew anything about black and white until they started to grow, right? Until they started to get older, showing the interest and working hard. People of African descent, especially those on the African continent, they would be coming here in the droves because they would want to see where he was born, where he ate his first meal, where he drank water, where he talked with the people, where he played, all of that, right? As a boy. Boyhood home will be turned into a museum, and of course I would be visiting that place as well. There's other things that we're able to educate ourselves on, and it's an edification process as well. You edify, you educate, and all of that as you go along. So the learning process never ends, right? As long as you're living, you're breathing, continue to learn, right? You will continue to learn as long as you are living. You can't stop the learning process. So the Prime Minister is saying it will be a first-class museum that reflects Garvey's vision and his world outlook, right? Because he had so much to tell us, but at that time, not many were listening. Grateful and thankful that he was a son of the Jamaican soil, and he represented Jamaica extremely well. All of that, right? So I am sure they are totally comfortable, and now is a time that we can now move into the process of getting this museum, up and running for our people and for the world citizens as well. Get a copy of Selected Writings and Speeches of Marcus Garvey, and it's been edited by Bob Blaisdell. When he was growing up, he said that in his early days he didn't know the difference between black and white, right? And he lived, of course, in St. Anne, and the adjoining property was that of a white man, and he had 3 girls and a boy. All of us were playmates. So growing up, Marcus Garvey played with black kids and white kids, and he didn't know the difference between black and white. Said at that time when the kids that he grew up with, black and white kids, they were separated once they became teenagers, right? So the white kids were sent off to be educated in Scotland or England and told never to contact him ever again. And that's when he knew the difference between black and white. And he was called the N-word by the parents. So not until the age of 14 he heard the N-word, right? So if you read that book, you will learn a thing or two about Marcus Garvey. This book since 2014, and I always go back to it now and again. I go back to it, I read a chapter here and there, but I've just met upon this chapter. He said a hungry man is one of the most dangerous things you can ever meet on. When a man is hungry, he is a dangerous character. So make sure that you're able to provide for yourself. We see 5 families in Manchester who was living in subpar conditions, receiving brand new homes just in time for the holidays. Prime Minister over the keys to the unit, and that was done on December the 19th. The beneficiaries are 69-year-old Teslin Roach from Freetown District in northwestern section of the parish, whose house was destroyed in a fire 4 years ago. And that fire also claimed the life of her 2-year-old granddaughter. So she was able to cut the ribbon of her 3-bedroom home. So again, this is just wonderful. She's very grateful and all of that, and she's very happy that she has a home and she's able to sleep in a comfortable home and have a roof over her head, right? So that is the most important thing. Anyone you speak to will tell you that the most important thing is to have a roof over your head. See you on the next video. Bye for now. Take care of yourself and others. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. To any kid out there that is listening right now, remember, never consider yourself less than, right? And you can achieve anything that you want to achieve.